Kshetra means Kshetra. Kshetra, what is the meaning? It's a place, no? Normally, what do we say? Kshetra is a place. Like Shri Kshetra, Punya Kshetra. Kshetra means it is a place. So, but here it has got a different meaning. Other meaning of Kshetra is field. So, this chapter is named as Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. That means discrimination of Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Terminologies are little different for us to understand. But meaning, if you all know what we are actually referring to. So in this chapter, Arjuna is again asking Krishna. We know no Arjuna's inquisitiveness. So he asks Krishna, I want to know what is Purusha, Prakriti, and Kshetra, Kshetrajna. What is this? And please explain them. So Krishna goes and is happy to answer as always. So he goes in depth and clarifies what is this field actually, and what field means Kshetra, and knower of that field is called Kshetrajna. In Sanskrit, Jna means to know. That is how Jnaya, Jnana, Jneya, all that word comes. So, Krishna will explain who is Kshetra, who is Kshetrajna. In other words, what is Prakriti, what is Purusha, we have described, but little more in detail, and it has got a different perspective. Very cleverly, Krishna and Vyasa have put it, worded it, in a nice way so that it appears that we know it, but actually we will not know. So we'll see what it is. Arjuna asks actually. Uh, अर्जुन उवाच प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव क्षेत्रं क्षेत्रज्ञमेव च एतद्वेदितुमिच्छामि ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं च केशव श्रीभगवानुवाच इदं शरीरं कौन्तेय क्षेत्रम् इत्यभिधीयते एतज्ज्ञो वेत्ति तं प्राहुः क्षेत्रज्ञ इति तद्विदः क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोः ज्ञानं यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम तत्क्षेत्रं यच्च यादृक् यद्विकारि यतश्च यत् स च यो यत्प्रभावश्च तत्समासेन मे शृणु ऋषिभिः बहुधा गीतं छन्दोभिः विविधैः पृथक् ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव हेतुमद्भिः विनिश्चितैः. So, Arjuna asks in the first shloka, as I said, Keshava, tell me, I would like to know, tell me about Prakriti and Purusha, also Kshetra and the knower of Kshetra. Kshetra is, as I said, field. It's just an open field. Just imagine like that. And the knower of that field, what is there in this field, I should know, no? And the knowledge and that which should be known, how much of this should be known, I desire to learn. Arjuna says like that. So Krishna has kindled that interest in Arjuna, and Arjuna is also receptive. Therefore he is asking questions and he wants to know more about it, just you and I are always interested. So Krishna says, so what is Kshetra? This body, O son of Kunti, Kaunteya, is called Kshetra. Body means body with all its mind, everything. It's to be understood. So that is called Kshetra. And one who knows this body is called Kshetrajna. This is what people, Tadvidaha means knowledgeable people, have described it like this. He says, O son of Kunti, people say, means knowledgeable people. Those who know Vidaha means those who are very knowledgeable. They say this body is the field. And who is a knower of that field? He is called Kshetrajna. Now, who is Kshetrajna? He will tell in the next shloka. So, this body is the field, and the knower of the field is called Kshetrajna by people who are very advanced in the knowledge. क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञयोः ज्ञानं यत् तत् ज्ञानं मतं मम. That means now he says, know me also, O descendant of Bharata. Kshetrajñam cha api mam means I am the knower of the field. He brings that concept. I. How does Krishna knows this field? Because he lives, he's part of the human body. Yes or no? Do you recollect how is he represented in our human body? Anybody? How he exists in the human body and everywhere. Him. How Krishna exists.
Consciousness, ma'am.
Pardon?
As a consciousness.
Consciousness. Very good. Precisely. Consciousness. He is, Krishna lives in our body as a consciousness. We have discussed. Therefore, he says, know me as Kshetrajna. In all kshetras, sarva kshetreshu. That means he is the consciousness in all the fields. And what is the field here? We said body. Your body is also a field. My body is also a field. What do we do in a field? Why it is probably called as a field? Is so many activities happen no in a field. Let's say cricket field. So much of cricket is played. There is batting, there is bowling, there is fielding. So many things. Or any field you take, or agricultural field. So much is grown there. It is cut. Then they sow the seeds. Full of activities. Therefore, the field is the body, and the knower of the field is Kshetrajna, and I am the knower. I am that Kshetrajna. I know what is happening. I know what is happening. So, do we also know? Yes, we also know. He's coming to that point, or we have to analyze that way. So, he says, I am, right now, we will take it like this. I am the knower of this field. I know what is happening in your body. That means the consciousness is the experiencer without getting perturbed. It is experiencing all the happenings in our body. The consciousness is existing in our, because of experience, he knows everything. So he is Kshetra. I am the Kshetrajna. Sarva Kshetreshu. I am the consciousness in all the bodies. I am the consciousness in all the bodies, and this will be explained little more in depth later. And the knowledge of this body with all its mind, everything, he describes that. What is that Kshetra? The knowledge of this Kshetra and this Kshetrajna together is the true knowledge. What should be known? Arjuna asks, no? So he says, know the world, this whole body and Prakriti. We come to that. And also know the knower also. That means what is to be known? The person who is sitting inside, consciousness. So there is consciousness and there is this body with the mind. Then who are we? Who are we? Who is individual, so-called, whatever we are assuming. Actually, what is our true nature? That is the same consciousness. It is little difficult to comprehend. We know consciousness is there. We know it is acting on this body, mind, everything. But where are we? We don't exist. We are that consciousness actually. That is where we are heading to. So we must understand that this Kshetrajna, or the knower of the field, or that consciousness, is that super consciousness pervades all the bodies. Means in you, I, everywhere it is there. It appears as separate, but it is one. There is one consciousness, one Kshetrajna who is there in all the bodies, but it is appearing different. It is appearing different. Why does that consciousness doesn't shine in the same way? Because of the gunas. We know that. So now you see Kshetrajna, Kshetra, that is the knower of the field and the field, or Purusha, Prakriti. They are synonymous. Prakriti is nothing but this body and everything. Now next shlokas he tells what all it constitutes. So this body, mind, and its modifications and its emotions and its going here. Everything constitutes the field. He's using that word for Prakriti. And the knower means the experiencer is a consciousness. Then who am I? Am I this body or mind? Or am I that consciousness? The Vedanta says, Tat Tvam Asi. That means you are the consciousness. I would recommend all of you to listen to Bhagavad Gita Chapter 13 by Swami Sarvapriyananda. Beautifully, it's quite long and quite deep, but worth listening. Very beautifully, he says. So then who am I in this body? Who's Arjuna? Arjuna is also consciousness. Two identities consciousness. The mind is not consciousness. It is he. It is you. It is I. All of us are actually the manifestation of consciousness, but we appear like this because of the gunas. Just hold on for a minute. I'll have to. Sometimes the technology, the charger was the older is different. Okay. So he's telling that I am the knower sitting in all the bodies. Is he separate? The Advaita Vedanta says no. He appears different, but it is the same consciousness which is shining or which is manifesting through the gunas. Through the gunas. So every individual is manifestation of the same consciousness, but it appears differently. Hi Archana, welcome. It appears differently because each individual manifests based on his guna. We know, no, there are three types of gunas: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. So each individual has his own personality based on several things, isn't it? His upbringing, his genes, as I said, environmental influences, and upbringing means by parents, environment means outside, at home as well as outside. And the Vedanta says a man's behavior is majorly influenced by his previous tendencies. They're called samskars. We have told that, no? So because of that, the same consciousness which is there, it is appearing differently. Just like the gold appears, it can be converted into a bangle, into a necklace, into a Mangal Sutra, whichever form you take, but the gold is gold. So the way you shape it. Similarly, that consciousness appears to be different in different individuals, that same pure consciousness, infinite, all powerful, all peaceful, the same bliss, Sachidananda, the same thing. But because of his gunas, no, that will mask the expression in that particular individual. If a person becomes more and more purer, then what happens? That is the kshetra, modification of the kshetra. Then the manifestation of the divinity, consciousness, you can call it as divinity also. So that becomes more and more manifested. That is how you find that each individual is different in one or the other way. It depends on, as we said, his samskara. That's called his prakriti, his nature. That depends on how he has reacted to various circumstances, various situations. So, and his choices he has made in his life. That defines his personality. And more he makes his choices in a higher platform, taking selfless thing, helping others, and all that. We have discussed that. So then the consciousness gets manifested. So coming back to the same point, that kshetra is the field or the body, mind, and all that. Kshetrajna is the knower. So if we have the consciousness, what do we know? Let's say Krishna says, I am the consciousness in you, in him, in her, everybody, I am this consciousness. So he knows. Now, if we say, who am I? I am also the consciousness, Tattvamasi or Aham Brahmasmi. So what am I doing? There is a body and mind and everything, and I am the pure consciousness. Whatever is happening in this plane on the screen, I am experiencing. The consciousness experiences. Consciousness is the background against which this is acting. That means, as I said, screen and the changing images on the screen. So images is everything related to body, mind, and situations, everything. But the screen remains unperturbed, but it happens on the screen. It happens on the screen, therefore the screen becomes an experiencer of pain, pleasure, and it keeps on happening on the thing. That's all is a consciousness. It remains unchanged. Whatever is happening is only on the image, and these images keep changing. If you project a movie on the screen, who decides which heroine, whose image, whose picture has to come first? It's the director. So that is our mind, buddhi, ahankara, all that. No, based on that, we start projecting on this screen our happiness, our sorrow, our feelings, everything gets projected there based on our manasu buddhi. So that is working like a director. So what is happening to the screen? That consciousness, exactly. I'm taking this example from Swami Sarvapriyananda. He says it's like a screen. So the screen will not, it will just be there, no enjoyment, nothing. But what is the experience there? It is getting projected on that. So like that, we are like screen, pure, it is getting projected. Therefore, the screen appears to be colorful. If you put off that projector, the screen is plain white. So when nothing is there, no thoughts are there, then what happens? We are as clear, as pure, as blissful, as white as that screen. So this is the analogy given in our Vedanta. So Krishna says, and what is that kshetra? Now he goes to explain further. What is this prakriti? Kshetra means what? Understand that is the body, mind, and all the things. So he says, what is that kshetra? What are its properties? What are its modifications? And what effects arise? That means from where does this come? And also, who is tat kshetram yajja yadrukchat yat vikari yataschat, means what are its modification? And then sacha yo yat prabhavascha, means under whose influence it shines. Tat samasena meshrunu. I will explain to you briefly. And further he says, this subject has been sung. Rishi bhihi bahudha gitam chandobhihi vividhaihi prathak. This has been sung by sages in many ways, in various Vedic utterances, Vedic chantings, okay, and also sentences which are indicative and lead to Brahman. That means he's describing, he's giving a little more build up for this point, concept. Many sages have described this, and it has come in Vedas, and it has also come in sentences which are indicative and lead to Brahman. and which are full of reasoning. That is very important. These are full of reasoning. That means you can experiment. There's a rationality there, and we are very convincing. So if we understand, no, with an open mind, we should understand, and we should. There is a logic there. Definitely, it's logical, and it is convincing because they are all rational. We also, when we listen, when we hear to these slokas, we must try to see whether they are logical. It doesn't mean because Vedas have told. Krishna always tells, don't believe just because I'm telling. You also reflect on that and understand whether when you apply in your situation, in your uh, uh, different challenges that we have faced, if we apply and see and we feel maybe it is right, only then we should accept. So then it becomes convincing. But by and large, Krishna says they appear to be full of reason. Now these are two shlokas. We will take them together, and that will describe kshetra. Okay. महाभूतानि अहङ्कारो बुद्धि अव्यक्तमेव च इन्द्रियाणि दशैकं च पञ्च च इन्द्रियगोचराः इच्छा द्वेषः सुखं दुःखं सङ्गातः चेतना धृतिः एतत् क्षेत्रं समासेन savikaram udahritam. So he says, now it is very, very, if you remember, he had told Guhyatamam, this spiritual thing, Vedanta, which is an inseparable element for a human life. Inseparable. Actually, we cannot just live without it because it is controlling our day-to-day expression, because this is how it's functioning. So, how beautifully now he goes to that basic thing. The great elements, okay, Mahabhutani, the great elements, then I consciousness or egoism, then buddhi, ahankara, buddhi, and intellect, as also avyaktameva. Avyaktameva means also the unmanifested nature. Unmanifested nature. We'll see what it is. And the 10 senses. 10 senses are what? The eyes, the ears, 2 nostrils, then the mouth. For 5 senses. That is, um, uh, these are sense organs. Like 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, eyes, ears, taste, skin, and karmendriya. These are jnanendriya. That means senses. Then motor functions, the hands, the legs, and the tongue, speech, and the anus and the vagina. So, vagina or genital organs. So these are karmendriya, jnanendriya, karmendriya. So he's saying the egoism is combining the mental elements with physical. That's why he says the great elements, and then the primordial elements, pancha mahabhutas, and egoism, intellect, unmanifested nature. That means there is potential nature which will not be manifested, but when it combines, it makes. Basic elements are some chemical also, you see. Basically, they are chemical elements, but when they mix, they form another compound. Like that, unmanifested, they are unmanifested. They are able to manifest into a but different compound. So that is the meaning of causal, unmanifested nature. Causal. This is basic, I'm saying. Otherwise, a causal nature means from where Mahatattva. Then the 10 senses and 1 mind. 10 senses I told, 1 mind, and the 5 objects of senses. 5 objects means what is to be seen, the sight, what is to be heard, the sound. Like that. For each of these senses, there is corresponding object of senses. I hope I'm clear. Anything is there, you can interrupt me at any time. Plus desire, hatred, pleasure, pain. Then sangataha, aggregate of all this, and intelligence. And I don't know, he has brought again fortitude, or that dhruti. Dhruti is considered to be fortitude. That means sustained thing for some time. That's what it says. This is the meaning of kshetra. Okay, I will just summarize this once again. What constitutes this kshetra field? Okay, we are discussing this. Name of this chapter is Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. So little complex words are there, but it is not as difficult as that. So we all know, no, we have these panchendriya, eyes, ears, everything. They're all physical things, and we have hands, legs, everything. And what happened? These are the things, and the mind is there, and primordial elements are there, the air, space, and all those, and the causal factor is there, and five objects are there. All this constitutes kshetra. Objects are outside the body, still they constitute. That means the field constitutes the body and the environment with which the body and the mind are interacting with. Not only that, now he comes to the mental, what I should say, modifications or the mindset. He says desire, hatred, pleasure, pain, intelligence, and fortitude. Or some people say it is also called dhruti. Dhruti is said to be fortitude. So all these, that means mental condition, mental state. See, desire is what? It doesn't exist absolutely, no? Does desire exist like one hand and leg? No, it is our mindset, our thoughts. Desire, hatred are what? Thoughts. So in other words, pleasure, pain, that means these are all the experiences. All this constitutes, all this constitutes the prakriti outside, other than the consciousness. There is a consciousness and there is prakriti. This is how the entire cosmos is made of. Entire cosmos has two components. One is kshetra, one is kshetrajna. Kshetrajna is a pure consciousness. He knows everything because on his screen it is happening. And kshetra is a field where everything is happening. We move, we talk, we have sex, we drink water, we talk, we hear everything. The organs of those and what we do and objects, everything plus our thoughts, like Ichha, Dvesha, the dualities. Dualities he has described purposely, intentionally, he brings every context wherever it is required, he puts those dualities because the entire life is, we call it as suffering because we are obsessed with dualities. Either we like something, we are attached to happiness, or we are attached to sorrow. Both are attachments only. Depending on our nature, either we want to be always happy and we don't want to get an inch of suffering, and we want again and again the same happiness, the same thing, same possession, same people, same place. Or the other end of the spectrum is we have suffered and we want to sit on that suffering for years together or lifelong. So most of us are attached to these. But as we mature, as we understand, we try to withdraw ourselves from either of these and bringing a balance between the two, as we discussed in the 12th chapter. Samatvam yoga muchyate. Krishna says, what is yoga? Yoga means mentally. We are not talking about yogasana. Yoga is we are connecting with the consciousness. How do we bring that? Samatvam. Samatvam yoga muchyate. That is the bottom line or tagline or your whatever you use it, USP, whatever for Bhagavad Gita. Samatvam yoga muchyate. Samatvam. So he says desire, hatred, pleasure, pain. The aggregate, sangataha, aggregate. This word is used, or attachment also can be used. And then chetana, that is intelligence. Okay. And dhrutihi, fortitude. Etat kshetram samasena, he says. Then very beautiful next one. What is to be known? What is the real knowledge? Real knowledge means understanding. What is that knowledge? Next, we will take 5 shlokas together, and then that is the end. So far, anything to be, any questions you have so far? We have defined what is the kshetra, what is kshetra, what is kshetrajna. Kshetrajna is a pure consciousness. Remember that screen, that we are. We are not realizing it. That we are. Actually, we are a bundle of joy, bundle of happiness, says Vedanta. But we are living in a dream state, which we consider as real, including this, what we are discussing now. We are discussing Bhagavad Gita. That is also in that state, but it's a higher state, which goes towards realization. But we are all in the dream state. Dream is a dream in this dreamy state. Actual dream, what we sleep at night, that is the dream in the dream state. So these are all different states of our mental evolution. So this whole thing, whatever we are interacting, whatever is existing, that is field or kshetra. And what is happening on that screen is our consciousness, which is embodiment. It's actually Sat Chit Anand, Sat Chit Anand, extreme bliss. It's not even happiness; it is bliss. Okay, thank you, Archana. Any other thing, Archana? You have anything to add or clarify? I mean, yeah, I think which you feel you can. You're all of you are free to express your views. Yeah, Padmaja. So far,
No, ma'am, it's very
huh.
clear
You
to
can.
me.
You can. No, you're open to ask because that's how we should learn. So I hope it is clear now for all of us. Yeah.
It is clear,
Um,
ma'am, but it
yeah.
is very
Yeah.
deep. It is
It is deep.
clear.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
very deep. I feel to
Yes. Yes.
understand and realize that consciousness
Ha.
at every point in life, like every second of our life, it is
Yes.
very difficult. I feel. I mean, we
Yeah.
tend to forget
Yeah.
that
That's right.
He is within us and
That
His
is within us. Yeah.
consciousness,
Correct.
and we make mistakes, so many mistakes every moment of our life.
Correct. Correct.
So I
Correct.
think that's quite a challenge to
Challenge,
keep that
yes, that is a
realization.
challenge. Yes, it is a challenge.
Yeah.
And the yes, you are right, Padmaja. The whole purpose of human life is to face this challenge, get over this nature. We
Yes,
are
ma'am.
already pure, we are polluted, or we are stained. We are assuming that we are stained. Actually, Sarvapriyandas, I was listening to his lecture. He says, don't, you are pure bliss consciousness. Keep remembering, Aham Brahmasmi, I am pure, I am pure. Keep telling yourself. That is what they do in meditation, Jnana Margis, or Bhakti also. Say, God, God, you are the doer. I am just a Trunamatra. I am like a one small speck. Like that, we keep doing, and then we become so much of surrender, we become one with him. So either ways you take, you can approach consciousness with either of these two. Yes.
And if
Yeah.
we realize this consciousness, I think that is a very higher level of achievement.
Yeah.
I think most of our problems are gone with that.
Yes, very much.
All those senses related challenges that we have, desires,
Yes.
expectations, evil thoughts, of course, do come. So I
Yes.
think once we realize that, okay, consciousness is Him, I think
Him.
before doing anything is wrong, that is technically wrong,
Yes.
not,
Yes.
I think we will stop thinking about something wrong,
Yes.
stop
Very much.
speaking wrong.
We'll stop thinking.
That's
Yeah.
all. I think that is the biggest challenge.
Yes, that's the biggest challenge, and God will be very happy listening to what you're speaking now. That's what I want him to say. I want you to do this, do that. But at least we
Yes,
are
ma'am.
awakened. We know we are in some direction. We still don't know because what is knowledge now, he says, and what comes and how we can. Krishna says now in Kshetra, because of those desire, hatred, pain, pleasure, and all. Now, what should be known? That is a Kshetra. It's happening. He says this is a field. This is how it's happening, and it is getting experienced, it is fixed on that. Now all this is getting imprinted, and imprinted means it doesn't stay in that screen, but it is playing, and that play throughout, no, like a drama or a movie, whatever you say. As long as it plays, there is suffering, there is misery, there is ignorance, and all this, as we have already discussed, it is Maya. Prakriti is illusion, Maya. Very tough, though it's very tough. But if we make a choice, in fact, Swami Saropriyananda says, this moment you can be relieved. You can realize, you know it, you are already that, but only you have to go deep and dissociate yourself, dissociate from all those entanglements. And what is that dissociation? That is knowledge. And so I will read this now. Next five. These are coming on the way. This is what is to be known. What is to be known? अमानित्वम् अदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यम् आत्मविनिग्रहः इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अनहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधि दुःखदोष दोषानुदर्शनम् असक्तिः अनभिष्वङ्गः पुत्रदारगृहादिषु नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम् tvam ishtanishtopapatishu mai cha ananya yogena bhakti avyabhicharini viviktadesha sevitvam arati jana samsadi adhyatma jnana nityatvam तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतत् ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यदतोऽन्यथा. If you remember, Arjuna asked, what is kshetra? What is kshetrajna? And what is jnana? What is jneyam? Who is the field? What is a field? Who is the knower of the field? What is knowledge? And what is to be known? So in the previous, he says, Krishna told this is kshetra. And he has told, I am the kshetrajna. Now he says, what is that jnana, knowledge, which is to be known. So humility, first, amanitvam is humility. Adambitvam, unpretentiousness. You pretend you are something, you're pretending to be something. We should never have that. This comes on the way of realization or experiencing that blissful consciousness. This we should know. Knowing means, again, I am quoting Sarvapriyanda because this chapter was little complicated and I have heard him again and again, and he uses the title of his lecture is Knowing is Being. If we say, I know this, I know that we should not be egoistic. Are you really non-egoistic? That defines your knowledge. If you know, you should be humble. You should show your ego. Again, all these are great challenges, great challenges, because even a great saint like Shukacharya, great saint like Durvasa, all these people have gone through those ego, after getting so much of, they would have realized, they would have seen God, they would have felt that samadhi. Still, you know, they have shown their ego. We have read in Bhagavad Puran how Shukacharya himself, he burns one crow, you remember, because the crow shits on his body after he would have come taking a bath. Then he says, how dare you pass your feces on my body? You just become, turn into ashes. He burns it. So that is the ego, ahankara. So amanitvam, adambhitvam, unpretentiousness, whether we should be true to ourselves. Adambhitvam means do not pretend, don't have hypocrisy, right? Don't pretend to be something. You are so much of hatred you are breeding, but you keep smiling. Politicians will do mostly. Sorry if anybody is related to or something. Not everyone, with exceptions. Many of them, because they have to get their things done. No, I was watching, as so Archana always says. Archana, you always tell, no, Netflix mein ye dekho, wo dekho. I watched this serial called Maharani. 4 seasons are there. Anybody has watched? Have you watched, Archana, Maharani on Netflix? No, Netflix or Prime, I don't know. Yes, yes,
Yes,
anybody
yes.
else? Yeah.
The new season also has started, the fourth
Yes.
one.
Fourth
The
one,
15th
yeah.
episode, yes, one episode.
Yeah. And what a politics he has shown. Beautiful,
Very
brilliant
true.
direction.
Yes.
So you see how they pretend, what they are, what they actually do, what they and what they show and what they do, what they promise and they don't. So unpretentious. So they are heights of this pretension or hypocrisy. But we also behave like that. If you subtly observe, sometimes we don't want to displease, we don't want to hurt somebody. So it's okay. Very critical situation, but by and large, if we should be very observant, we should be observing what's happening in our mind, and if we are trying to do that, there is no need. In fact, I had shared this with somebody, Anita Murjani. She has written Life After Death. She has made a lot of videos, and she's written a book also, Trying to Be Me. The title of
Trying
that,
to be me, yes.
Trying to Be, you remember, Archana?
Yes,
Yeah, Trying to
yes,
Be Me.
yes.
This is precisely what she writes, and with her experience with cancer, what she has told from her experience, and which B.M. Hegde also says, when we are not true to ourselves, when we are not transparent, when we want to hide something, it creates a friction, and that affects physically the immune cells, the cell-cell interaction, and that is likely to generate malignant cells in the body. So when the hypocrisy or pretentiousness will affect our physical health also, and when you suffer physically, there is no way your entire life goes in taking care of your body, your illness, curing, chemo, that not only cancer, Most of the diseases will happen because of such imbalance. This is a very deep thought. Many doctors may not agree. In fact, B.M. Hegde says that there's immune imbalance, and immunity will definitely, immune imbalance, endocrine imbalance, all these are causes for so many diseases, and it creates a stress within ourselves, isn't it? When we want to be something, we are not. It's called, my mother-in-law used to use a very beautiful word, Atmavanchane. Kannada ಬರೋರ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Atmavanchane ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಡ ನೀನು. Atmavanchane means not that real Atma, but there is something, even if it is wrong, doesn't matter. Even if you're rude, even if you want to say something against that person, and you are not able to tolerate, say it, even if it accounts to anger. But being transparent is considered to be a very high quality, which makes your mind pure. Then you can apologize, or you can apologize means for being rude. You can tell it in a nicer way, but say what you feel. So they say what you think, what you speak, and what you act, all should be in the same, coherent. They should match with each other. What you think, what you speak, and yeah, fine line. Yes, correct. That separates ego and self-respect. Yes, that's right. Archana, I agree. Self-respect, we discussed this when we had this session on Taksha, what is her name? Sati. Self-respect is important. We should never, you are very correct, Archana. There's a very thin line between self-respect and ego. So self-respect is defensive, and defense we should never give up. Defense should be there, and that is first actually. Sometimes no, until you define the this is for me also, it doesn't mean I've overcome. No, it's for me also. So when we cross a boundary little bit, it becomes ego. Correct, doesn't matter, but we should be first, we should take care of our self-respect, because we should not appear to be egoless. We should not compromise our self-respect. I hope I'm clear. Oh, you are, they think I am egoistic. No. And therefore, at my cost, I'm trying to keep others happy. Never ever. That's what he said. Don't pretend. Say what it is. If it is ego also, it's okay. You can say, I might have been rude, but I meant this actually. I might have used some harsh words, or my tone might have been different, but I mean this. This is what they expect. So this keeps us, at a comfort zone before we go. And this is to be known. He says, be unpretentious. And ahimsa, of course. Again, ahimsa, they're related. Ahimsa, first, don't hurt yourself. Okay? Don't hurt yourself. Don't, act in a way that makes you miserable. No. First, you take care of your happiness without harming others. And also, don't harm others. Offense it is. Harming others is offense. Don't be offensive, but also be defensive. Be defensive. Just like that story of Nagaraja we discussed in Upanishads, no? That snake, he will be ego, we can call it as ego. He will be troubling everybody, and he occupies a lake, and whoever comes there, he stings the poison and he kills them. So many deaths will be happening in that area. So the children stop playing in that lake, they stop swimming, people stop taking water, and he lives like a great king. And one day a sadhu comes there, and listening, these snakes are very sensitive to the footsteps and the ground vibrations, right? So he comes out and he looks at the sadhu. Sadhu is very cool, and it's a conversation. So how come you're so cool? How dare you come near my lake? The sadhu says, is this your property? No, this is public property. Anybody can use. No, I have been living here since my family is there. My wife, my kids, everybody is here. My relatives are here. This is my area. Human, nobody should come here. So, but the way he's so cool and calm and all, no? He says, no, you should never do that. You should live in harmony with people around you. As long as they don't harm you, you should not harm them. This is ahimsa. No injury for yourself. If they hurt you, then you can. But don't keep harming those people. Don't keep harming. Don't allow them to play. Allow them to come. Okay? Be good to them. Be soft to them. This is what the sadhu says. Then the snake will say, okay. And the sadhu, but then because the sadhu feels this man has something very high power, because every human is afraid of me. This man is not at all scared. In fact, he asked him, aren't you scared? He said, for what? For death? I'm not scared of death. I have conquered death. Death is nothing. He gives him a piece of advice on death, immortality, and all that. So, and how did you become like this? Because I didn't hurt anybody. This is how I have built my personality. And that gave me fearlessness because I don't hurt others. I don't hurt others. This much he will say. He will not say beyond that. So the snake agrees and he says, okay, from now on, I will be as you said, Guruji says. And the sadhu goes. 1 year later, then what happens is the snake stops, troubling others and all that. It just sits. So somehow the children feel when they throw stone, the snake is not coming up. When they go near, the snake is not coming. His children are not coming. Nobody is there. Then they say, mostly the snake has disappeared. We can all play. And the snake, as it comes on the ground, they start hitting. They just take a chance. They hit him. Then they put through 2 stones, 3 stones. It's not reacting at all. Then it becomes like, everybody starts playing. In fact, they pick him up and they keep throwing here and there. They enjoy. Then the snake doesn't even go out to eat the rats and all those. So rats increase, other species increase. And the snake becomes very weak because he's no longer eating those other animals. And after some time, the wife also becomes so helpless. The children become helpless. They also become weak. Then the sadhu returns after 1 week. Then he calls Nagaraja, Nagaraja. He wants to see how is the snake. This Nagaraja comes like a weak fellow. No, he comes out and he says, "What is this you have done to yourself?" Nagaraja says, "You asked me not to injure others, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm doing Ram Nam Japa." Sadhu laughs and he says, "Ram Nam Japa you are doing, and you are sitting like this, like a coward." Says Sadhu, "Don't tell me. You told me not to hurt others. Ahimsa, non-injury. Exactly I have done. Now I should be realized so like you. But see how you are and look at me why I am like this." So Sadhu says that I told you not to hurt others. Did I say not to hiss? You have to hiss. Why should I hiss? So that they don't trouble you. So this snake, this is an enlightening. He says, yes, this I never realized. Yes, you have to defend yourself. Who told that you should not defend? You must defend yourself and be hissing so that people don't take advantage. So this is what we should learn. Ahimsa, non-injury, but you must protect yourself. So self-respect is like hissing. Self-respect is don't let anybody take advantage of your position or whatever. We must, after particularly reading Gita and all, every individual must draw a routine or a schedule for himself where it is taking him towards the higher consciousness and realizing the consciousness. In the process, so much of peace is there, so much of bliss is there, you cannot, imagine. So when that is the case, why should we compromise our time, our this thing for others to please them? No, we must have our routine. And if that routine, like going for a walk or going meditation or doing, of course, we can set that routine, which is in line with the entire family or the system. Let's not, just today I want to meditate at 12 o'clock and I have to cook and I say, what is there in cooking? Meditation is, no, that is not the way we should do. We should plan it properly, but that is our time. I have to, this much of selfishness is good for us to grow. And in that time, if somebody, not only for this, for anything else, if somebody is hurting, then we have to hiss whoever it is. We need to show self-respect. But boasting and other things and behaving in a very authoritative, that becomes an ego. But yes, you are very correct, Archana. Unless we are aware, conscious, we are likely to fall into the egoistic thing. So amanitvam is that only, humility. Adambitvam, show. Yeah.
One more incident says during Mahabharata war, there will be a debate going, I think, between the Pandavas with Krishna and Draupadi, all in their chamber. And they will start having some second thoughts and they will be still discussing. They definitely want the land back. They want to fight for Dharma. So as you know, they are good kings and rulers, and they want to have that discussion on whether they are doing right or not, because on the other side, they are their relatives. So
Relatives,
Krishna
yes.
also will be there in the audience, and when they are talking, when they start discussing, like, should we really go to war? Is there any other solution to this war? So they will be discussing that. Suddenly, Draupadi gets very angry. So she gets very ferocious, and she'll be telling, my self-respect was endangered during that one incident. I was
Yeah.
pulled and dragged in the court. How can you even think of having a second thought about it? It was my self-respect. How can
Correct.
you demean me like this? So she becomes little angry and very authoritative. And I think that is when Krishna stops her, because he tells her
Okay.
that is not how the discussion has to happen. We should always see both sides. Even our people will be
Correct.
lost, our sons and daughters, and
Hmm.
they are going to be affected by the war. You cannot just keep, of course, that was a very bad thing that happened to you, but you cannot forget about the dangers of this war, which will be
Dangers,
a
yes,
very
yes,
vast. And that is
yes.
what happened at the end. She lost
Correct.
all her kids, all her
Yes.
children were dead. It was only her and Yudhishthira who were
Yeah.
made to sit on the throne. I mean, they
Correct.
became the king and the queen, but she didn't have her children with her. So I
Correct.
think Krishna points that thing to her, that
Yes.
you cannot get carried away by this. You should think both the sides. Of course, we
Both
are
the
fighting
sides.
for dharma. I know wrong
Correct.
has happened to you, and I definitely saved you.
Correct.
I think we should always have that debate in our mind whenever we
Correct.
think what is right, wrong.
Correct. Correct. You are right. So this points out to one point. Self-respect is good, but sometimes the self-respect, I mean, it was over in her case. And that event was over. And Krishna rightly said, look at the system now. Now it's over. And they came and protected everything. Now, raking up that again becomes too much of obsession. That is what Krishna must have told. But overall, yeah, that is why he goes and does Sandhana. That's the right point. Too much of obsession with ನನಗ್ ಹಿಂಗಾಯ್ತು ನನಗ್ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, vengeance, taking vengeance
We
becomes
often do that, ma'am.
we
We
often
often
do.
do that because
Yeah,
we
that
also
may not
feel
be real
something.
self-respect.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is
that may
unfair
not be.
that it has happened to me.
Yeah,
We keep
correct.
on digging that again and again. We
Correct.
don't
We
want to
keep
let it go.
let it go. Yes, that's right. So that sometimes disturbs the present situation. So that sometimes we have to consider the system and excuse, forgive. That also comes here. So he says, now the same example, if you take non-injury, forbearance. Forbearance means just hold on. Titiksha, or forbearance, or kshanti. Kshanti hi arjavam. He says uprightness, forbearance. So Draupadi also could have done that, because anyway that point was over, considering the risks and benefits, we say no, like that. So then service to the teacher, he's talking about all these qualities. Service to the teacher, acharyopasanam, shaucham. We said shaucha is purity, cleanliness, external cleanliness, internal cleanliness. I hope I'm not taking much time. We can finish off this. They're very, whatever we have discussed in the previous chapter, similar to that. Steadiness, sthiryam, steadiness, and atma vinigraha, self-control, not yielding to too many distractions. And it continues. And renunciation of sense objects, excessive attachment. Renunciation means too much of attachment should not be there to the objects. That means to people or situations or some particular thing, we should not be too much attached to. This we know, but we have to practice. And also, so indriyartheshu vairagyam anahankara. Again, he says absence of egoism and reflection on janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. Reflect on evils of birth, death, old age, sickness, and pain, dukkha. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, dosha, anudarshanam. That means we have to reflect. What happens is when birth happens, death happens, we must keep reflecting, and we must understand the process. Deepak hogbeko. Always we should, when a person is born, too much of rejoicing. When a person dies, too much of what I should say, mourning. Too much, too many days. Keep that sorrow. No, that should not be done, because What is reflection here? Just as a person, when a person is born, yes, it is like any other thing. We must be happy. As we said, we should celebrate. Again, these are all dualities, which we should take them in a balanced state. So birth happens because somebody dies, somebody is born. Death happens because a person has to die, because he should be taking birth elsewhere, and there is no death for the Atman. It's only the body which dies. So all this is reflection. All right. So reflection on the birth, death, old age, what is sickness, why did it happen, how can all that pain. And next, ninth shloka, non-asaktihi, non-attachment. Then anabhishwangaha, anabhishwangaha putradara grahadishu, non-identification of ourselves with son or children, wife or husband, home, and the rest. Non-attachment means too much, clinging to that. My house, my wife, my daughter, my son. Nan magani hinga agbidto. How dare they talk to, as she was saying, how dare they do that to our son? How dare they talk to my daughter like this? Whether daughter is right or wrong, son is right or wrong. We are always thinking the other person is wrong. We never think what our children have done, even when they were small, because they're our children. We assume that they're always right. Nityam, always, and Nityam cha samachittatvam. Again, always even-minded, always balanced mind, always taking sukha dukha in the same platform. Always, Nitya, always. Krishna says this should be practiced constantly, consistently. And ishta anishta upapattishu. Then occur in the even-mindedness, even in the occurrence of desirable or undesirable. If it happens, fine. If I wanted something, bantu sari, barilla sari. This is only giving up the attachment. That means whatever I want will not always happen. If I get, fine, I'll be happy. I'll accept with grace. We should not be so detached that whatever happens, it's okay. We must respond. We must with that enthu should be there. That life should be there, but not too much attachment. That is a challenge. It is like walking on the rope. When Dharmendra was on the deathbed, no, we were all getting those. Hema Malini walks on that rope in Sita or Gita. I'll give a lot of examples from movies, because those were the movies when we were young, and very, very nice, that scene. She'll be walking with a stick and she'll be balancing. That's exactly what we are supposed to do. Walking on a razor's edge. Neither this side nor that side. So, salpa ikade agbitre, then again we have to bring it back to balancing. So, this is what we should keep doing, as you said, Padmaja, throughout the day. Then, mamaicha ananya yogena bhaktihi avyabhicharini, unswerving devotion to me by, exclusive, ananya, exclusive devotion to me. To me means Parabrahman in any form, something which is supreme. You be continuously unswerving devotion and detachment, and avyabhicharini. Vyabhichara means again hypocrisy also, and with admixture of other things. Like sometimes we mix up. We are not showing true devotion. We mix up with something. I will give you 5 kgs of gold, or something like that. With a personal, selfish, mixed, not a pure devotion. That is called vyabhicharini. So he says avyabhicharini, and inclination to go to isolated place. Just see how beautifully he says. Today we say loneliness. No, he says that is solitude. You go to an isolated place. Be to yourself, because he is there. The consciousness is there within. Be with that. That means we must understand. There's one book written by, I am not sure, from Mahananda or somebody, Eternal Companion. I love that word, eternal companion. Whether our spouses are there with us or not, children are there with us or not, that consciousness is with us. So when you go repeatedly to secluded places, or when you find something which is, peaceful, alone, you're alone, not with the earphones or something, just be with the consciousness. When we live with that, this is one, he's telling all the qualities. And those distaste for constant company, distaste for the society of men and women means, you should not be, I always want people around me, and that should not be there. So he's telling all these qualities. And adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam, constant application of spiritual knowledge, realizing the purpose of true knowledge, whatever we are saying, This is declared, etat jnanamiti proktam. This is the knowledge. So how beautifully it says. We said, who is kshetra, who is kshetrajna, what is jnana, what is jneya. 4 questions Arjuna had asked. He told kshetrajna, it is me, and it is you. We both are same. That is the consciousness. Understood, that is. It's Tattvamasi, we have to understand. So that consciousness, pure consciousness, is kshetrajna. Kshetra is this body with all those desire, that, karmendriya, jnanendriya, primordial elements, all that he says kshetra. Now, jnana is what? He says all these qualities. What are those qualities? He said amanitvam, humility, unpretentiousness, non-injury, forbearance, uprightness, service to teacher, purity, steadiness, self-control, control of excessive attachment and absence of egoism, reflect on birth, death, old age, non-attachment, non-identification of self with your family, even-mindedness, and he says unswerving devotion to me, and not always being in the company of people, preferring to be alone in the company of your consciousness, and constant application of spiritual knowledge, realizing the purpose of true knowledge. This is declared to be knowledge, and whatever is opposite to this is ignorance. So beautiful, no? True knowledge. See, whatever knowledge we have about this entire world, that is limited knowledge. In fact, that's what I will be thinking. We think learning science is good, inventing something. That's all limited. Even if you discover something, no, that is limited. Unless we know ourselves, unless we practice this, the person might have been a Nobel Prize winner. But if he doesn't practice this, then that knowledge is very inferior. No doubt, it is good for the society, but it is limited. It is not the true knowledge, says Krishna. On the contrary, if we know all this, then the minute you realize, anybody who wants to do those experiments, which a Nobel Prize winner has done, it will become just a baby's game. Anything, because he knows that from which all the faculties of science are born. That means physics, chemistry, biology, English literature, Sanskrit, everything is born out of that consciousness. So once you become one with that, then everything is it's like a very cakewalk. You will never feel anything is difficult. Brother, you would not enjoy doing that, because you have enjoyed something higher than that. That is the true knowledge. True knowledge means, as Swami Sarvapriyananda says, being. What is that being? When you be like this: humility, non-injury, ahimsa, samatvam, purity, teacher's devotion to teacher, constant application. Application is important. We are all discussing that only. So Bhagavad Gita becomes important only when we apply in our day-to-day, even from cooking, talking to your spouse, handling your situations, accepting the challenges, accepting which I cannot change in any case. I just cannot change. If my son doesn't want to get married now, he's not willing to see any girl now. He says, no, I want a break. Okay, I cannot help it. So this kind of acceptance, not that we should be inactive. We should be active. But then if it doesn't happen, then it's okay. Because our attachment itself should be less. We are identifying with the body. Therefore, this is only field, prakriti. What are we? We are the consciousness, to which nothing. And so my consciousness, your consciousness, everybody's is the same. So where is it's all same. This we have to start reinforcing. This thought has to be reinforced. Then that knowledge, that is the third component. This is what is to be known. This is a true knowledge. What is a true knowledge? When you be it. When you be. So when we do all this, no, then beyond that is our consciousness actually. Even lack of egoism also, not that much. Until and unless we become one, we realize that we are the consciousness. But until then, the field is all this. What is happening? Ego is happening. Insults are happening. Sorrow is happening. Birth is happening. Death is happening. So this is the description in a different way Krishna has told. This is a field. Very beautiful, no? Everything is happening. It's a dancing thing in this field. And he sits totally unperturbed. And we are also supposed to sit like that screen, unperturbed, and just observer. Sakshi Bhuta. We should be an entire observer. That is what is the spiritual knowledge. To be that. That is knowledge. So here I end. I have crossed 10 minutes more. Any questions, any additions? You are free to add on to this. I hope it was clear, but being is not easy. Being is not easy. One must do regular practice. Regular meditation will help. Yes, Archana?
Basically, what they say is being in the moment is most important.
Yes, correct. Correct. Live in the present. Correct.
Moment.
Live every moment. Yes, this is a very profound truth. Correct. Because we don't remember the past, we don't remember the future. We enjoy. Even yeah, that's very correct. Good point. Live in the moment. Shinmaya Mission had shared one video. No, when you are working, be involved in that work. Look at your hands. When you are washing something, just observe the
True.
washing. So that makes you completely involved in what you are doing at that moment.
Doing.
Yes, this is very, very important. Even Jiddu Krishnamurti's tagline is live in the present. Live in present. Right. Perfect.
Enjoyed your session, Prati, after so
Oh,
long.
thank you so much.
My
That is
guest has
Krishna's,
arrived
not
and
my session.
No, my guest arrived. I said, I have to finish this session. Please give me some
Oh,
time.
somebody is
So-
there at home.
No,
Oh.
we're expecting guests. We
Acha,
got a
acha.
little delayed, so I could log into the session. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got
Yeah.
delayed. Huh? Okay. That is nice.
Yeah, so it
So
was good for me.
good. Blessing. No, that